Welcome to Goat Island. I am your host, the Big Ka Huzzi, and this is your weekly sports. Just like every week, first we have There's No I in Team. It's team sports. And in the world of football, the GOAT player, CR7 Mr. C himself, Cristiano Ronaldo, has won the UEFA Nations League trophy, adding another title at 40 years old. This week's reason why Liverpool is the GOAT club is none other than the fact that the Reds have 5 more Champions League titles than Man City. So all that recency bias can take a hike for a week here. Now in rugby, we unfortunately don't have much to say about the Stormers other than their return on the 26th of September after the international tests between nations will be against the Irish club Leinster and will take place at Cape Town Stadium. Looking forward to the homecoming for our boys. Low on the map in Super Rugby, the Auckland Blues were in the semi-finals this past Friday, but we're not going to get into those details right now, but we'll double back next week. And across the pond in the NRL, the Brisbane Broncos are set to take on the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks this Sunday. So come next week, we'll bring you the results for this week and last week for both the NRL and Super Rugby. Let's not forget though, it's June 2025 and I just checked the stats. Guess what? Man United still sucks. You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, but that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about the fights. It's time for combat sports, starting with the squared ring. This past weekend was the first big boxing match of the month with Campos Jr. taking on Hitchens. And while we won't go over the results this week, what we can tell you is boxing is so mid right now. What we will do this week though is make our picks for the final big match of the month. The fight, of course, being the Jake Paul fight, seeing him take on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And we've got the problem child taking this one by TKO in the first 7 of 10 rounds. In the world of MMA, the month of non-stop action continues inside the UFC, with this past weekend being Buckley versus Usman, and this coming weekend being the Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill fight card in Azerbaijan. We'll predict the 2 main fights for this weekend, and next week we'll go over the fight night results and bring you our predictions ahead of the highly anticipated UFC 317 card. So, for the co-main event for this weekend, it's Rafael, almost made it, Fiziev taking on Ignacio, never heard of him, Bermudez at 155. Now, we can't lie, Ignacio's record is slightly more impressive, and recently Fiziev has been on a 3-fight losing streak. But if you compare who those losses are to and the level he's been competing at for the past few years against Ignacio, I mean, it's really apples and oranges. This is a must-win for Fiziev, and even though Ignacio has the height and reach advantage, we're going with Fiziev inside of 2 rounds via TKO. In the main event, it's Khalil So Close Roundtree Jr. facing Jamal Salat Hill for light heavyweight action. And Jamal has lost twice in 2 years. Wow. Roundtree's only loss in the past 4 years was a war against the former champ Alex Poatan Pereira, who was one of the 2 guys who slept Jamal in the last 2 years. So we're going with Khalil Roundtree by TKO within 2 rounds. And those are your predictions for this weekend's UFC Baku Fight Night. Wrestling is a lot of things, but fake isn't one of them. Wrestling talk time is next. And look, there was no PLE this past week, but WWE gave us so much, from Seth looming around John with his new Money in the Bank briefcase, to Gunther regaining the World Heavyweight title, no heat, to CM Punk reigniting a decade-old feud with John Cena, bringing all the nostalgia feels while feeling so fresh, to R-Truth becoming Ron Killings. And all of this was just Monday Night Raw. This week gets a 8.5 out of 10 from us. Only thing that could have made it better was Roman returning. But in time. Of course, we only have the Night of Champions to look forward to this month still, but we do have the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, which will see their finals take place on this very PLE. So this isn't a complete waste of the PLE. In fact, in case you didn't hear, we officially have our first match of the event to predict, with CM Punk challenging John Cena for the WWE title at the Saudi PLE. And this is a 50-50, because on one hand, I can see CM Punk winning for the double turn, with Punk turning heel and John turning face in the aftermath. But if CM Punk was to win this, it would just mean an immediate cash-in from Rollins, which seems a bit rushed. But we do think that Seth would rather make sure the title never gets onto Punk at all, which brings us to our prediction, which is Cena winning with interference of Seth and company to retain the never-seen 17th title, and still over to AEW. Things are just cruising at a less than mid-level. So here's a challenge for Khan. Hey Tony, how about you do something original and stop recycling WWE storylines? I'll give you a tip. Start by maybe not relying so heavily on old WWE talent. Okay? Wait. Are you going to get to it one day, or is today day one? There's no better time to work on yourself than now. And why? Ka Huzzi says so. That's why. If you're struggling to lose weight, then hey, just think about it. If life was about the easy things, then you'd be winning. Yay! But it isn't. So you're not. Which is why you look like you do. Ask yourself, which is more difficult? Not eating that fourth piece of cake, or not being able to see your belt? Muscle gain not going as well as you hoped? Well, that's your problem. The fuck is hope going to do for your muscles? All you have to do is eat, sleep, live, and repeat. The problem is though, most people don't know how to lift. So focus on form and really controlling the weight on the eccentric. That's the negative or way down of the lift, if you don't know. And if you don't know, then it makes sense why you're not making gains. And look, time escapes all of us, but that shouldn't be an excuse. If you need better time management, then my suggestion is start by placing your workouts close to other things in life that you can't avoid. For example, if your shift starts at 8 a.m., then just start by setting the requirement of working out before work. You'll see that when you have something else to do after working out, you tend to push a bit more because you can't afford for the time to be wasted. Now, all of this is great, but what about your mental? Well, you are what you hear, and you hear what you say, and you say what you think. So if you're following, you need to start thinking that you can do something, so that you can start saying it. And once you say it, then you'll hear it, and then you'll believe it. That's how you change your mindset. That's a wrap for this week's Sports Drop, and you should probably, like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts, drop a comment. And from Goat Island, this is the Big Ka Huzzi. We'll check you again.